Sure.
The big one? The big one.
Yeah. Off-roading, man. It looks so stupid.
It's a crater. It's less than a mile wide. I'm gonna get in the crater, hold on.
Stop.
Just a random find on Google Maps, something called Spitting Cave. Don't know what that means, we're gonna find out.
It's kind of an interesting trailhead. You have to come up to the top of the hill, and on the top of the hill is this neighborhood full of very expensive homes.
Yeah.
And it's like a really, really residential area. Doesn't seem like someplace you'd have a lot of parking and stuff going on.
Continue.
And then the trailhead is really steep and really slippery, as indicated by the sign that is at the top of it. I don't know, it just feels like a strange place to have a dangerous trailhead.
$1 million homes, slippery little place down to a cave. Seems right. Slowpoke. Where's the cave? Get out of my way. Super expensive homes with this jutting out of them. That's insane looking. I just turned my head and couldn't believe that the residential had met the nature in that way.
It kind of looks like a UFO flew into it or something, you know what I mean? Crashed into the side of the building.
Smashed it right into it. It's bizarre. Very unexpected results with this spitting cave. To explain the cave, it's a hole in the wall, the waves come up, they go into the cave, and it spits back out what came in. The most we saw was kind of like a misting coming out, because I guess the waves and the wind aren't heavy enough, but we did get to see kind of how it works, and maybe it gets a little more intense as the waves and wind get more intense. But what we didn't expect to see were dolphins, whales, and turtles all in one go. There was a family like sitting here and they're just spotting things left and right, and I'm just along for the ride. That was incredibly unexpected, and apparently this little area is just perfect. They're all having a good time under the water, and we get to see them when they come up for air. That was incredible. About how many stairs do you think that is? I don't know if you can see in the background, that's Koko Crater. We won't be climbing it today, but people are climbing it. It just looks like a straight shot of stairs all the way up, which, you know, in most cases we wouldn't mind, but we're hiking about 400 stairs to get to our apartment every day. So, well, one time at least now. We're gonna skip this one.
She's the police.
New fun thing to do? Talk to the police. Wherever you go, just find a reason to go up and talk to them. Because honestly, American police, coming from the perspective of an American, is that they are kind of scary.
They kind of are when you're young. Maybe we're old enough now that they don't fuck with us.
True. Their authority is, they feel like they're more there to enforce rules than to help.
But at least the cops in Hawaii have been awesome.
Yes, all cops that we have talked to in Hawaii have been very, very awesome, and maybe that's true for everywhere, and we just haven't been looking, like, you know, and as a child I was breaking lots of rules.
Well, even when we were breaking rules, they'd mess with you, you know what I mean? Or they'd be rude with younger people. They'd definitely mess with you. Maybe it was where we lived. Maybe Fredericksburg cops are just jerks.
Yeah.
But
so,
yeah, it's been chill here.
I'm gonna start talking to some cops, see what's going on in the local neighborhood or whatever, and just have a chat if you have a chance. That's my plan. And we're at a lookout right now, and we talked to the cop, and there's a lava tube that's close by, and I just asked if it was safe to go, and she said that it's not. One one, there's no one down there to make sure that you're safe. Two, you're gonna have to frogger across and she used that verb, frogger across the highway, and you can't park here to go over there. She can give me a ticket. So we're gonna leave.
As a general rule, the vibe of Oahu is quite a lot different than it was on the previous two islands, Kauai and the Big Island, that we spent time on this trip. And most of it is, it just feels a lot more like a urban center with things around it that are not urban, but it all feels much more, not modern, just like there's more people. I mean, I don't know, it just feels like there's more people. And one of the things that screams that there's more people is that there are signs everywhere that's like, your car's gonna get broken into here, don't leave valuables in it, blah, blah, blah. I don't remember seeing any of that at all on the other two islands.
Yeah, and in specific, when we stayed in Kauai, doors were left unlocked.
Yeah, we stayed at the couch surfing place we stayed at was like a house in a neighborhood, and she was like, I just don't lock the doors.
Yeah.
It's just not a big deal.
We have, thus far, we've seen a sign that says lock it or lose it in big bright letters. We have seen broken windows on cars, and when we rented the little piece of shit, the guy told us if you need to leave something in the car, leave it in this secret little area. So I think break-ins are a serious thing here.
Yeah, it's happening for sure, it seems like.
And I guess that comes with
people.
Things being more urban.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, just big city living means that you don't get your stuff anymore.
We live in the biggest city in the world, nobody steals anything.
Yeah, that's true. So today's main goal is just to go up the East Coast, and we're hunting out little random geological things along the way. The Spitting Cave was a geological thing that we didn't expect, but now we're hunting for Peles Chair. We've kind of walked away from it, going down a paved path that the cop told us about. This is really great shooting.
It's windy, and I've got this like arm strap thing for the camera, and I'm worried that now that I put the screen up, the wind is gonna catch the camera and throw it off this cliff. So I was like, this is an emergency, but I didn't want to shake things up too much, but it was kind of impossible.
Yes.
But anyway,
other geological things that we've seen, we've come out to the end of this kind of cliffy area. Just in general, the eastern coast has lots of geological formations that I didn't see on the northern shore.
It feels very volcanic. I think that there was that crater that we didn't hike up, and that's like an old volcano, and I think that it exploded at some point and created this big volcanic area that poured out into the ocean. And this part just feels volcanic, and it feels less lush than what we saw on the north coast yesterday.
It's more rocky.
It's more rocky.
More terrain-y.
Yeah, dude.
It's green terrain.
But it's not trees.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like a forest. It's more like, we saw cactuses. Like straight up, there's cactuses here. And they have this pretty nice, easy paved path, surprisingly. And there's a lot of people walking with like baby carriages and stuff.
The cop said that it was family friendly.
Yeah. So it's a pretty easy path, but it's a bit much right now because in the middle of the day the sun is like pounding down.
Yeah. So we kind of skirted off to the side. You can continue going up this like paved walkway to a lookout that from the distance I could see like 20 people up there taking pictures, looking around, and I saw this lighthouse off to the side, and I was just like, maybe we'll shoot for the lighthouse. I could see a little path. Started going down there, and it looked like we were about to hit something that said we can't go back there. I saw some people kind of coming out of the woods, and I asked them, were you able to get to the lighthouse? And they said, yeah. So we headed on over here. We got to see the lighthouse, getting to see some little cute islands just sitting out right in front of us, and there isn't another person here. There's shade and breeze. It is like a miracle.
The watercolor is what's really getting me right now. It's very hard to capture it on film because I'm shooting from a shadow into the light, so the camera doesn't like quite adjust for it exactly how it looks in real life. But just be assured, it is a beautiful color of blue and quite clear. You can see right down into the water, see some of the rocks and stuff. Did you see though, back to the lighthouse, that the reason that the lighthouse is there is because in the early 1900s, a passenger ship that was built in New York was sailing over here, and it hit a coral or a reef or something like that, and it sank. So they were like, we need to put up a lighthouse. And this was the first lighthouse in Hawaii, I think.
This is the first one?
I think so. In Hawaii, not in like the United States or anything, but in Hawaii, or at least on Oahu, I believe it was the first lighthouse. Learned that on the signs up there. That was kind of nice.
And they learned their lesson in a very bad way.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty crazy to think that like that was the technological solution at the time that made sense.
Put a light
like,
up.
Put a light up and then put 3 houses out here so 3 families could live on shifts that keep the light burning with whale oil. You know what I mean? Like, it just seems so distant, but it really isn't that long ago that was the solution.
I didn't realize, I thought they were like just little lookouts for a dude. Were families living there?
Yeah, I guess. It said that like the lighthouse attendants and their families lived out here. It said they were 2-bedroom houses with 14-foot walls made out of like this stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Such a solution.
And it's really super windy up here. Apparently it's windy all the time. So they had chosen an area to build the houses that was sort of out of the wind, but apparently it was just like inescapable essentially. But yeah.
I am okay with inescaping it now.
I've learned recently that I really like infrastructure. Just in general, I'm really interested in how things work. And even like past those times. Is interesting.
Like how did the lighthouse function?
And like I understand that, but I kind of want to know like how did those people get food and like what did they eat and like you know what I mean? Like how did their toilet work and like I want to know every little detail about it. I think that's kind of why we film videos the way we do, to be honest with you. That like I want to show like all these minute little details because that's what I was interested in before we traveled. Like how does this work?
How the shower has a faucet.
How does the shower have a faucet? Like those little things. I find that interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, we've gotten off track now.
Let's get back on track.
I mostly just don't want to go back out in the sun, so I'm just talking.
I think that's inescapable. I wish I had a whole pancake page. I don't have a whole pancake. Yes, I do. Okay. Whole pancake page in the guidebook that we have. And there's other pages with more pancakes and more pancakes. The one that I have in front of me is right here. And I labeled it as the ketchup pancake. I had no idea what this was, didn't really think about it, I just kind of went on my way. I thought it was kind of interesting. When it comes out, it doesn't look as ketchup-y, which is probably good because it's guava. The smell that I'm smelling right now is kind of citrusy, but not too much of an attack. And there are 2 types of guava. Did you understand the 2 types of guava?
No, one is sweet and one is soury.
One is sweet and one is soury, okay. I've got pink. It's been mixed with cream cheese.
That's interesting.
Other. Super duper sweet little tart. Wow. That is exciting. And I was told that I'm supposed to do the whip. You can kind of tell that it took a moment for us to start this because the whip has decided to just die there.
Can you explain like the Japanese connection to pancake stuff?
Yes.
Show the front of the magazine. Does it have any on the front? Yeah.
Bam. That's the basalt pancake. I've named all of them. Yeah, they are fascinated and think that Hawaii has a pancake culture. And I guess that it might, but when I think about Hawaii, I think about like pork and like roasting a pig and luau's and stuff. I think pancakes.
It's kind of like how they think KFC is Christmas. Somehow they twisted something up and came up with a thing.
Somehow they twisted it up. This is going to be incredible. Get that on tap. Guava's my new jam.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It could be a jam.
I'm sure it is.
How's the pancake itself?
Fluffy, good. Like a pancake. I can never really be disappointed in a pancake unless it's burnt.
Fair enough.
If you messed up the pancake, it's good.
I got a MahiMahi plate, and a MahiMahi is a fish that's really colorful, about like this big, and looks like, I think they actually call it dolphin in some places, but it's not a dolphin at all. It's a fish straight up. And I kind of have a special connection to them because when I came to Hawaii as a child 3 times, when I was like 9, 10, and 11, somewhere in that age group, I would go deep sea fishing with my dad, and he would go fishing for marlin, but they would let me fish for mahi-mahi because when you're that age, like to pull a mahi-mahi in at that age, you got to be like, it's a serious endeavor. It's not simple. It's like this fish is really strong. So I actually caught some. And then my parents would take us to a restaurant, and the restaurant would serve me the actual fish that I had caught, which was a really cool thing to have done. And I've been looking forward to having it again during this trip. my family would usually do this on the Big Island, if I remember right. We would stay in the Kona area, and that makes sense because this place is selling a Kona style MahiMahi. We're not even on the right island, but they do it the Kona style, which is where they take it and they deep fry it in a batter it in an egg and deep fry it. I don't know. What do you think? I don't know. They cook it with a battered egg.
They've battered it and grilled it.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but anyway, it's battered in an egg, kind of almost like a tempura or whatever.
Is it grilled or deep fried? Grilled.
Grilled. And I'm gonna try to get
expert advice
into
right there.
this. Yeah. I think there might be a little bit of bone there that I was just trying to cut through. And I'm gonna have a piece of it just straight up. It's kind of like a white fish, and it's not a super fishy fish. Oddly enough, it's almost like they didn't cook the meat all the way through. I'm sure that's intentional. But it is almost, it's a little cold, interestingly enough. I don't know if that's proper or not, but I'm not an expert. I want to try it with, sorry, I don't know how to cut this because I'm not sure where the bones are in this thing. I don't know why I kind of expected it to just be like pork chop, you know, with no bones. So I'm sort of being a monster here. But I want to try it with a tartar sauce. And we may take a break while I figure this out. Okay, so I ended up cutting into the other piece, and the other piece is properly cooked and just falls apart like a normal piece of fish is supposed to, rather than a piece of like raw tuna on top of rice and sushi. So we called the waitress over and we were like, these are not the same, and she was like, that one is not cooked properly. So the one piece that I was just happened to bite in first to was not proper, and that makes sense because like I'm thinking about this as a kid, and I'm like, that's not how the fish was. I mean, it's been a long time since I ate that fish, 20 years or whatever, but it wasn't like that. Like, I think I remembered if it was that difficult to chew through. So my plate is gone, and we're now waiting for its return. Hopefully this time it will be more cooked. We have a fresh plate. This time it smells better and it's cut. So people are going to be like, how dumb could you be to eat that? The thing is the way that the batter is on the top, it's really difficult to tell what's going on with that fish. You know, I'm not familiar with it. So, I mean, it is a little bit of stupidity on my part. But I mean, also, like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, probably should have been cooked. But luckily it's fish and not something that will probably kill me for being undercooked. Eat raw fish all the time. Let's get in here again. This time, yeah, I mean, it's almost like it didn't get cooked at all. It just fell apart.
I would say that
hot.
it did not get cooked
It didn't get cooked at all, 0%. So now I have got a piece of fish that is really hot, like to the point of where I'm going to have trouble putting it in my mouth. And that is not bad. It's mostly just the delivery vehicle for the tartar and the lemon. The fish isn't like an overwhelmingly fishy flavor or anything like that. It's just fine. It's a lot better than the last dish that came out, so I guess the bar is a little low. Nice cock, Katie. Nice cock. Give me those specs. That's right. There's also a million cats and baby chicks, and they're all just living together, and the cats aren't eating the chicks or the chickens. What's going on here? What kind of fantasy land are we in? It's a lot of cats. And a cock.
Denied.
This is pretty strange. Just pulled up to like this national park.
They're sleeping.
We just pulled up to this little national park, and I don't even know what the national park is, but there's just cats everywhere. Like, just everywhere. Like, there's lots of them. How many do you think there are? Like, a lot? Quite a few cats?
At least 20 cats.
And then there's chickens and baby chicks and a short school bus.
Yeah.
It's just a weird vibe. The cats aren't really into being touched, but they let you get almost within touching distance. You know how cats do.
I know how cats do.
Some of them seem really clean, and some of them seem like they need a vet. I think they're just feral cats. I think these are just wild cats, but like house cats, don't have homes, but
they really all look like house cats.
Yeah, but they
that
look
have
like
somehow
house
congregated here.
It's weird. And is this a house chicken snooping up on me?
Yeah, it might be a house chicken.
This one has gotten really close to me a couple times. I think this might be like into people. Maybe people feed it by hand or something. It's very strange. Update on the wind for the elevators being shut down where we're staying. Remember, we're on the 30th floor. I want to keep reminding everybody.
Today they had the elevator open from...
Hold on, there's a blog for the elevator because this happens so much.
Yes.
So we checked the blog.
And this blog wasn't like mentioned to us prior to renting this place. It was open from 10 to 11:45 and 1 to 1:15.
And like the elevator.
Use the elevator.
Yeah, and then they said that it's looking like today is what day? Monday?
Yes, today is Monday.
And
they are going to retest it at 6 to see if there's any opportunity to have it on any more tonight. And then Tuesday through Friday, winds are supposed to pick up, so they're pretty sure no elevators at all then.
Tuesday through Friday.
We leave Friday. So
we're gonna be hauling our bag down the stairs.
Hauling a bag.
It's ridiculous.
This is really impressive. Found a geological thing. They call it the Chinaman's Hat. It's that island out there. We might get closer, we might not. I don't know. We were driving up the coast, and sometimes you get real close to things, and other times you're very far away from it, and then sometimes you're at a military base and they tell you to turn around. So we're just kind of riding by our coattails. The seat of our coattails, is that how that's said? Yeah.
Perfect.
Yes.
It's fika time, and we hit a 7-Eleven, and we talked about this briefly before. The 7-Elevens here are a weird mashup between a Japanese 7-Eleven and an American 7-Eleven. There's just products from both places, and then sometimes they make a product and they make this thing that is a mixture of two places that maybe is not should not be together. I don't know how to explain this. We've got
abomination.
We've got peanut butter mochi here, and honestly it looks kind of gross. It's like kind of slimy.
It's not slimy. I mean, like, it's still got like the powdered sugar on it.
Yeah.
Oh,
it just looks
yours is
weirdly
weird. Mine
slimy.
does not have that
wet.
sliminess.
It looks wet. And then the thing about this,
tie-dyed.
Yeah. It's half blue, and then if you spin it around, it becomes more purple. So here's the thing about blue food. Japanese people do not think blue food is appetizing. Like, as a general rule, they're like, blue food, like they see blue cakes when they go on like vacation to America, like blue cakes, and they come back and they're like, I saw this blue cake, and they got pictures of it on their phone and stuff. Like, this is a thing. Like, they do not do blue food. So to see a Japanese food blue and then injected with peanut butter is super, super not normal.
It smells like a peanut butter jar that doesn't have very much peanut butter in it.
Yeah, it does.
That is how I would describe this smell.
And we're fairly big fans of mochi, and I'm a big fan of peanut butter.
Yeah, solid fans of both.
I'm not sure how this is gonna roll. I actually think it might be okay.
So do you think that inside is going to be peanut butter as opposed to beans?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be peanut butter, like instead of anko.
Like a little pod of peanut butter is gonna be inside.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the thing about that is peanut butter is kind of dry.
Yep.
Right? Am I crazy?
No, you're not crazy.
Okay. To authentic Japanese cuisine.
Authentic Japanese cuisine.
All right, and we go.
There it is.
There's straight up kind of crunchy peanut butter in there. Like, straight
They
up.
went with the crunchy, which surprises me. And it seems like there's like a darkness on the outside where the peanut butter and the jelly have been mixing and hanging out with each other. It's probably the worst mochi.
It's
not something that should be happening.
It's weird textures together. Mochi just doesn't have much flavor.
Who's buying this?
Us. We've seen it at 2 7-Elevens at least. Somebody on the internet said there were Oreo mochi someplace, like on the island. And then, so I posted this on Twitter, and a bunch of people also mentioned that they get something similar to this in like the Japanese area in Los Angeles. So this is not like isolated. And they were saying they love it. I'd rather just have a spoonful of peanut butter.
know how I feel about this. This is...
I want
to label it as wrong.
I want to take it back for Japanese friends and let them try it, but it expires like today.
It expires on the day. So yeah, we already thought about that. I'm at a loss for words here. That's for sure.
Well, it doesn't taste blue. I guess that's a good sign. Like that's a good. Oh, I got something else too that I was that falls into this mixture of two things. I got some calpis, but they call it calipo. What is that? What called? Calpico. Calpico is what they use the name for but this is like straight up calpis. It says calpis in Japanese, like on the thing. It's calpisu. But of course they don't they don't want to call something calpis, like in America, so they rename it, I guess.
Maybe calpico is just what they are calling it when it has strawberry in it.
No. I saw it.
You saw other
up.
flavors?
Yeah,
okay.
It had the same name.
I see.
Can you open that for me since I'm holding the camera?
Yeah.
But the thing about this is that I can't recall ever seeing strawberry flavored calpis in Japan. So basically the way I describe calpis to people that have never had it is carbonated milk, but it's funny because it says non-carbonated on it, but for some reason that's like, it's milk soda with no carbonation, I guess is the best way to say. And this is strawberry milk soda with no
1%
carbonation.
Juice.
Is it 1% juice?
1% juice.
That's a lot of juice, babe.
Yeah. It's hard to juice those strawberries.
It's a pretty strong strawberry flavor.
I can smell it.
You want to taste? It's all right.
Yeah, it tastes like
it tastes like
a dessert.
Yeah. It's better than the mochi.
Yeah. Yeah. We actually got closer to this geological bit over here, the Chinaman's Hat, but we turned around and realized, oh holy crap, look at that geological bit. This is like a mountain range in some way. It's more like just a ridge that goes along the eastern side. There's one on the western side as well, and they just look amazing. It's very Kauai-esque. Obviously we're in Oahu, but it's given us a call back to where we just were, and I don't know. Other places don't make mountains or ridges like that. Gorgeous.
Why aren't you getting out?
Because there's peacocks afoot. They're aggressive. Are they trying to get in the passenger seat?
I think if they wanted you out of the car, they could peck their way in.
Yeah, that's probably true. Little piece of shit is not any protection at all. We found a snail. He's bigger than a key, but he's probably now pretty scared. I don't know if he's gonna come out of his shell. Puns. Do goats like the beach? I checked the beach, I don't see any goats. I checked all of the small peaks for like King of the Mountain games that the goats might be playing. I don't see any goats.
You may have to explain what you're talking about.
Oh, over there is Goat Island. So, got the binoculars. We're looking to see if we can see any goats. I don't see any. I'm a little disappointed. How do these work? I got like one very clear vision for my left eye, but my right eye is above that.
You gotta set the left eye first, and then the right eye, you fine tune it with this thing, and then you're good.
I did it.
It's easy.
I did that. I so did that.
Maybe your eyes are too close together.
Nice.
So the reason we came over here was because of Google Maps. It says Goat Island, but we knew we weren't gonna get over there. But apparently you could get over there if you were a strong swimmer, the seas weren't rough, or you had a boat. And I zoomed in though and looked at the name, and I took a picture of it, and it's like, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce it. You can see it on the screen. It's a word that is not, like, it's a Hawaiian word. Maybe it means goat, I don't know. But we were hoping that there would be some goats there. It says it's like a national preserve or like whatever wildlife sanctuary.
Maybe.
So maybe there's some wild goats over there. Something tells me not, because like where would they get fresh water, and you know what I mean? Like those goats aren't commuting to the supermarket to get water.
What are you talking about, fresh water? It's falling out of the sky right now.
It is raining, but I don't think that would sustain a herd of goats super well.
I think goats are resilient.
Are we gonna check out this bathroom, or God, it's really starting to pour.
It's really starting to rain, so I'm just gonna sit in this little hut for a while and wait for the rain to go by.
Just wait 5 minutes and it'll be like a difference.
The rest of the film is us stuck in this hut till Friday.
We won't have to do all those damn stairs.
No, we'll have to do those damn stairs after
but
we
only
missed
on
our
Friday.
flight. Oh, this is a big one.
To prove my point, it took me about 3 seconds to adjust the camera to show outside of this little hut after Katie said, "Oh, it's a big one," and it was pouring. And then by the time I was rolling that footage, it was barely raining. It's just like microclimates, man.
Using the binoculars makes my eyes watery.
The wind? Do you think it's the wind?
It could be.
Look at, you're all drippy.
Just a watery eye.
Maybe that's why the binoculars aren't working for you. Are you putting them into your eyes like contact lenses?
I'm not putting them into my eyes.
I don't know what's going on.
Well, they're not very nice.
I was asking. I don't know.
What was the first thing you said?
Which side are you using?
Your eyes are too close together. Maybe you're sticking them in your eye. So if you're at the state park, you gotta use the bathroom. You could use this one if you're brave. You could use this one if you're brave. Why are there no doors? This one does have the door, but come in. Let's close the door. Watch this shit. Close the door, you put your backpack down. Just wait for it. I just sat here meowing at that thing to go away. It does not care. Doesn't care. It's all up in your business. I'm sorry, but like, I don't share the bathroom with pets.
That cat's got a fetish. Let him live.
Definitely got a fetish, and probably wants whatever snacks you got. Just don't hide them in a special place.
That's a grade A bathroom attendant right there. You gotta come in and make sure all your business is going straight. I'm down on this cat.
Eric's got a new friend, and I'm gonna show that new friend, who is not paying attention in the least, what we've traveled so far that we've been on Oahu with little piece of shit car. We always start in Waikiki Beach because that's where we're staying. Yesterday we traveled up Highway 1 to 201 so we could go around, and then over to H2, Highway 2, and up through here. In this area we went to the Dole Plantation and did the maze, and then we headed up here and we had some shrimp over here, and then we headed up into the bay all the way to the tippy top right there. This is not what I would be doing there. It says swimming. It was a little too crazy there. I would not be going swimming. And then we headed back, stopped off at Sharks Cove for a sunset.
Whoa, you forgot all about that seal we saw.
Yeah, well, the seal was up there, yes. And then all the way back to Waikiki, boom. And then today, we went out this way. We had some breakfast, and then we did some hikes, and then we came up here, and Eric almost got poisoned by that restaurant. And then I don't really know what happened here. We just went.
We tried to go here, but there was a military base
yes,
there.
There's a military base there. You can't, the road just ends. And that is exactly what it did at the military base. And then came back out, and we went to this state park, came up through here. I think we went to this state park. This is where the Chinaman's Hat is. And then we came all the way up to here. So we're almost meeting where we came yesterday, up here in the north.
When we go home tonight, how will we go home?
probably back down this way, or we'll see which one's faster.
Yeah, we might just
It
go
could
back
be
that
faster
way.
to go that way.
Yeah, because it's gonna be dark anyways.
Yeah.
What do you plan on tomorrow?
Tomorrow we will start in Waikiki, and I'd like to do a few things in Waikiki that would be best with a car. Some things that they're just a little farther than walkable, but yet still in the city. And then I'd like to go out here and maybe try to go up a mountain. I don't know. I got dreams. Has a good face.
Hi, kitty.
Gonna be a car cat soon? Upgrade!
You will fit in that little piece of shit.
Yes, you will. Alright, it's around 7:45, 7:42, and the message that I saw on our blog update as to whether we can use elevators when we were sitting at the car was back in service 6:40, maybe on until about 8 p.m. Got out of the car, it's not breezy. The trees are a little bit moving in the fringes, but they're not moving at their stalks like they were last night. Start walking, get up here, 7:30, due to high winds, next update, 9 a.m. So they have decided that 7:30, the entire night, no elevators. Boom. And the building is right behind us. We're watching to see if the elevators were going up at all. They are not. Yeah, so I gotta pee. Definitely not challenging the 6.5 minute walk up the building to go to the bathroom. Just gonna go somewhere else.
It's not windy.
It's not really that windy. I had also been looking up like the wind report, because now I've learned how to be a windologist. Currently, what are we rocking? I wish I could do this. 21 northeast, and they said they would turn it off at 20.
Okay. Maybe it's windy up a little higher.
And, I mean, that definitely could be. There's times where we've been in the room and a gust of wind has certainly come in, and I've been like, whoa, that was a gust of wind. So that's where we stand with the elevator. Just wanted to let you in on the saga. For dinner, we're eating poke, and we've previously had it at one location that was very Hawaiian based to us. It was like a family restaurant where you can go and get Hawaiian food. We have come to I'm gonna say the Chipotle of poke in Waikiki. You go in, it's an assembly line. It's very much like Subway. You're building your own thing. You are a poke artist. There are 8 steps or 9 steps to the process. I feel like I got a lot of stuff that wasn't actually poke. I feel like I got a lot of salad, and I got a lot of cucumbers, and I got a lot of weird sauces, but I got like 3 pieces of ahi on my thing. So I'm very surprised that this is the process at an eatery for this, but that's in my opinion. Other people might think this is really cool, but I kind of miss that Hawaiian place that was like, we make the spicy ahi like this, you're gonna get half of that and half of something else, mix it together. There's not a whole bunch of other crap inside. This feels like they've poshed up the poke, and I'd rather have it gritty, but that's the norm for me. Yes, that was pretty hard. But never saw this anywhere else. This is scallops.
Like in New York, like so many, like I think he has diversity too. By diversity, I don't mean just race or.
They had been soaked in something. I wish I could go through all the steps with you. I've got brown rice on the bottom, furikake, some salad on the side. Some of the toppings that I chose were cucumbers, corn. I told them don't put jalapenos and pineapple on it. That's wrong. For some reason I felt like that's wrong. Everything else, I had like edamame, things like that. Like they just tossed that in there. Got some fish eggs on top and some goma, sesame seeds. And I used their house dressing.
Yeah, me too.
Because I felt like outside of that, I don't know what's going on here. I loved how overwhelming it felt, but at the same time I feel like I've made a bunch of maybe not so great stuff because somebody let me be in charge. I think it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be food. I got scallops on my plate. I'm happy.
But I am.
That's all I can say about this one. I really wanted to report back on that because it was just strange.
I went quite a bit lighter on ingredients than Katie did because I'm a lot more scared of things that they're serving in there, just pickier about things. Katie's just like, put everything on, whatever. I'm a little more like, cut that out, cut that out, cut that out. Yeah, minus jalapenos and pineapples. Neither of us thought was a good idea. But even that, I went light, and I still feel like I was talking about how American food is loud in volume and the way the flavors are. And this is just like, I put that house dressing on here and a little bit of salt and a little bit of sesame seeds, but there's just so many flavors happening. It's just kind of like, there's no purity to what's happening in this bowl. And part of it is my fault. I mean, I don't know really what to add or anything, but even just like a piece of salmon, and the wasabi that they're using is not real wasabi, it's like horseradish, like colored. It's really strong, like annoyingly strong. It's not bad, it's just not pure. It's not what I want from fish on top of rice, to be completely honest. Maybe I get used to it, or maybe I'd learn how to tune my own thing. But I'd rather try this, again, made by somebody who is like the poke master, how we did it the last place, and it was like, okay, this is much easier to understand. That was my jam.
Eric doesn't know what I just did, but been having a conversation with the guy who runs our apartment. And he's like, tomorrow I'm gonna come over there and I'm going to change some stuff in the bathroom. And Eric just blurted out, have fun walking up the stairs. And I just typed that into the shit and I sent it to him. And he writes back, he's like, it's hurricane season, sorry friend. Almost all of the other hotels are closing down their elevators. From our window,
we can see a bunch of other hotels.
6 elevators at another hotel that are they're exposed to the wind and they're all running. So I just wrote him back and I was like, this amazing view we have shows us the Prince Hotel and that all of the elevators are moving. So I don't think that's necessarily true.
I feel like we're coming off a bit negative in this Oahu stuff. I don't mean to, like, I'm not trying to like crap on the place, and I don't have a bad heart towards what's going on or anything.
It's comical.
Yeah, we're mostly just laughing about it. It's just like kind of ridiculousness. And I feel like I kind of did this place a little bit dirty, the poke bowl place that we just ate. Poke bar is what it's actually called. Mm-hmm. And I want to kind of clarify a little bit what I mean by the flavor is too much. And it's coming from my perspective, which is somebody who has lived in Japan for like 8 years. And Japan tends to mute flavors, and it's because they're going for the purity of the flavor of the fish and the texture of the rice. It's really important. And Japan is guilty of bringing Western or outside food into the country and then muting it and making it boring. And like we just mentioned, it's hard to find good pizza there because they kind of squash all of the explosion and the flavor that you would get out of like an American style pizza. However, I think that they do Italian style pizza pretty good, because I think Italian food is similar when you're in Italy, where it is kind of a muted about a similar, about a basic experience. And that's where, as somebody who lives in Japan, I eat this food that is essentially Japanese food. And it's just like they've put so much stuff on it, and it's just so explosive in your
California
mouth.
Roll has an avocado spread.
Yeah, like things like that. It's not that it's bad, it's just that it's not what I'm looking for in that cuisine. And Katie pointed out that when I go into Chipotle, I order probably a monstrosity.
He orders all the salsa.
Yeah, like what I order probably would make somebody that has lived in Mexico or somebody that's from Mexico just be like, what the hell are you doing? You know what I mean? And that's because I don't have that tie to Mexican cuisine the way that I have Japanese cuisine. So it's not that this food is bad. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying that it's not where I'm searching for out of that dish. But yeah. I'm glad we tried it for sure.
Yes, I'm totally glad that we tried
and
this.
If something
assembly line of whatever that was interesting in the very least.
And if something else came along where somebody else was making a poke or something, I would be like, yeah, I want to try theirs. I want to understand the variety
the full
that you can get, the full gamut of it. Yeah. I felt like I came off kind of negative and like I'm doing them a dirty, like, you know what I mean? That's not what I'm trying to say.
Doing them a dirty.
You know what I'm saying?
I guess you cleaned it up.
I did. I cleaned it up. At least the little background might make a little bit of sense.
Yeah.
You ready to climb some stairs?
Yep.
All right. Did it tonight. 4 minutes, 48 seconds. So we got a new record. I did 40, I'm sorry, I did 4:30, you did 4:48.
What are you rubbing it in?
Yeah, I am rubbing it in. And I stopped and talked to some Japanese girls who have to go to the 33rd floor.
Really rubbing it in. But I'm pretty proud of my 4:48.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Under 5 feels pretty good.
Yeah, I think you can get under 4 by the end of the week.
I think under 5 and I'll just be happy.
You're under 5 already? You should
Yeah,
be happy. Well, maybe you can get under 4:30.
Just keeping.
Maybe if you didn't bring your bag.
I think just keeping under 5 is making me happy. Why do I gotta work so hard?
I think I can break the 4-minute mark here.
Okay.
30
I'm
flights of
excited
stairs.
to watch you and
So next
happy
time
for myself.
you'll carry all the camera equipment, so I have a little less weight. Maybe I'll put on some shorts. Get on my
You're gonna have
shoes.
to like shape your beard in a fast manner. Real aerodynamics. Make sure it's got lift.
It's bedtime. One final tidbit. The guy that is our host for this place had told us that all the other resorts do the same thing when the windy things happen and they have to shut down their external elevators. So we went across the street to one of those hotels that you can see in the distance.
Waikiki.
And I mean, I realize that's a much nicer building than we're in and whatnot, but we went in there and we asked the people at the desk, we were like, hey, do you have to shut down these elevators from wind? And she was like, sometimes. And we were like, how often? And she was like, I really don't know. Like, she was kind of sketched out. We were asking these questions.
And I asked her, when was the last time it happened? She's like, I can't really remember.
But then I asked, if the elevators are shut down, what happens? And she was like, well, we let the guests use the service elevators that are inside the building. So that dude is like, yeah, they shut down the elevators, but yeah, they also have internal elevators, so it doesn't really equate because the guests are not hiking up 30 floors to get to their building or to get to their room in those buildings.
And what's his face did not write back to my message
No.
about these wonderful elevators across the street that are just rocking and rolling.
He was like, they shut down those elevators too, and Katie replied, we can see them moving.
Yes.
If I go after it,
For dinner, we're eating poke and poke. We're eating poke. And I'm gonna start over.
I don't get to go back.
This video was made possible by our supporters at Patreon. If you'd like to help us make more videos and get some sweet perks, consider checking us out there. Links below. A couple more videos from Oahu are on the way, then a series from Japan's countryside.